Hello and welcome to Busan in South Korea. Just having to check the mic is on for a second.
Yeah, exactly, right.
This young gentleman here is Lorinda. My name is Falcone and we're at G-Star, ready to bring to you the Hearthstone SuperFight event.
Yeah, this is going to be a good one. It's Korea taking on the rest of the world, otherwise known as Europe. For the Americans out there watching, not got anyone here, but it's been a long qualifying process for the Korean team.
Yeah.
And the rest of the world were invited, so they're off to a pretty good start.
We have 4 Korean players, as Lorinda just said, who have been fighting very hard to qualify. Some names that you will find familiar, such as Kranich, and then some newcomers who are here to try and make a name for themselves. But then on the other side of things, we've got Zixo, Hoi, Orange, and current world champion, Pavel.
Yeah, and he wants to say current world champion as many times as we can at the moment, because that title is going to change in January.
Yeah, not much he can do about it at this stage. In fact, Orange has asked us to refer to him as future world champion.
Future 3-time world champion, in fact. I mean, I'm not quite sure how we're going to do that, but yeah, Orange, the future 3-time world champion, sure. Good luck, dude.
I don't know how optimistic you actually want to be about that, but, you know, give it your best shot.
Well, he's going to be there in Amsterdam for a chance at his first one. But yeah, this event is set up. It's going to be single elimination conquest. It's going to be best of 5, and the Koreans and the rest of the world are split up.
Yes.
So
today we're gonna bring you 4 games. Each one is going to be European player versus Korean player. And
right.
Tomorrow, based on who qualifies, we'll have 3 games left to determine the winner.
Yep, quarterfinals, semi-finals, finals, bish bash bosh, and there's some money on the line.
Yeah, let me just thumb through my paperwork. All right, so the total prize pool is 36 million Korean won.
Oh, I thought you were going to say dollars then.
No. It's about, I want to say about $32,000.
Sounds about right. It's 18,000 for the winner, usually double it-ish. But it does drop off. If you lose today, instead of going home with something like $4,000, you go home with like 800.
Yeah, so the guy's definitely not going to lose today, but this prize pool shoots up significantly. If they win, it goes up to 5 million won. If they win again, 10 million won.
I want to use that currency a lot more if you're talking in millions. That makes me feel rich.
10 million won sounds like a lot more than it actually is.
It's still a lot of money, though. It's still a heck of a lot of money.
It's like when we were yesterday at a store buying a drink, and they're like, that will be 2001, please. Oh, 2000, what?
Yeah, hang on, I can't afford a mortgage. But actually, no, everything's really cheap here. It's a shame you cannot see what is out that way in front of us. We've got a big crowd here for the Hearthstone. Yeah. And behind that is this absolutely insane convention. It is a yearly convention, not a, like, seasonal one, so they have got room to make it absolutely massive.
I don't even know if I've ever seen this many people.
No, I haven't.
In one place. In fact, I'm sure you'll be able to hear everything else. If we're being quite honest, we're going to struggle to hear each other a little bit through this broadcast, because there is so much going on around us. There is no glass or anything separating us from everything going on the other side of the stage. And it really is quite a sight to behold.
Yeah, I mean, over to my left, you can see what I can only describe as what looks like 4 Who Wants to Be a Millionaire audiences, all playing different games.
We're going Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Is that the direction we're taking?
Yeah, all the games are going on behind them, and obviously it's like multiplayer games that they're taking place. Then over sort of directly in front of us, we can just see endless technology stalls. There's loads of esports over that way. It's just absolutely nuts.
When we're not actually on camera looking like idiots, we will take photos at some point and share them online, so you guys can get some sort of idea of just what we're looking at the moment. But anyways, enough about us and our experience at this amazing event. Our first game coming up today. Where is our first game? It's going to be Suni versus Hoi.
Yep, Hoi. Well, what can we say about Hoi? Pretty much he has done everything there is to do in Hearthstone, except winning the World Championship, which he is qualified for.
He's getting there. He's, of course.
Suni has battled through infinite qualifying. Just got it in front of me here. He went 3-0 in the preliminary rounds, and then there we go. There's the stats in front of us.
Look at that timing. It's almost
That's only the best of 16 round. There were 3 rounds even before that.
It's almost as if we know what we're doing with that timing.
Yeah,
we
something like that.
We don't.
We don't know.
That was a very, very lucky coincidence. But round win rate 85%.
Right, so they played a knockout stage to get to the last 16, and in the last 16, I can't quite work it out from the information they have. He played one player 3 times in 3 different best of 5s, but the round of 16 looks like it was something like triple elimination or groups of 8 or something, and he did really well in that. He went 8-2 in that round as well.
As you can see, he beat Kranich in one of the rounds. Yeah. Kranich being one of our most notable players. Yeah, just quite a great performance all the way through. There are a lot of good Hearthstone players in Korea. Even the casters in the booth next to us, right next to us. We have Flurry, we have Dawn. Like, these guys are huge names. But speaking of huge names, this is Hoi, World Spring Champion 2017 first place. He's just one of the many places that you may have seen him over the last few years.
Yeah, and backstage, I think he's more serious than ever to me. Like, very, very reserved. Everyone else is talking deck tech and stuff. And he's joining in, but you can tell he's thinking about this match. Okay, he's first up, so he's going to be quieter. But he was super ready for this match.
Of course, we were backstage with these guys just a few moments ago, trying to pick up any tips that we could about their deck lists and what to expect. And there's definitely some interesting stuff coming up. But just look, you can get some idea of the scale of the crowd there, and that's just the front couple rows. Imagine that, but with thousands of people behind them. As we look at Suni versus Hoi and their beautiful Hearthstone portraits, it's going to be Rogue, Paladin, Warlock on Hoi's side versus Shaman, Druid, and Priest on the other side. Hoi has banned Suni's Rogue, Suni has banned Hoi's Druid. It's going to be best out of 5, Conquest, about what you've been used to at most of the recent tournaments, especially the Blizzard ones.
Right, so Suni has brought the lineup. He's got Druid, Priest, Rogue, +1. That is the default lineup in this, but Hoi has not got that. He hasn't even brought Priest at all, making it much harder to make a ban. And going to be interesting to see. Deck lists are closed. We don't know them. We're seeing them as you see them. The players don't know them. I think some of the the rest of the world. Did I say European?
You did.
I'm sure there's no NA viewers mind that.
It's a bit of a bad time to have any sort of bias, given that right now it's 5:30 in the morning in Europe, 6:30 depending on where they are. I'm sure that there are many more viewers from North America watching at the moment.
I think there's more from Korea watching, even here, just looking in front of me. There are thousands of people.
There we go.
This is what we are looking at, guys. And you can see the convention panning out behind. There's the games off to the right as we see it.
Okay, I'm guessing, based on the loud voices we're hearing from that room there, that there is a game of Hearthstone that is about to start.
Yeah, I think so.
Things seem to be heating up. That's what you guys are here for. That's what we're here for. Let's take a look. Korea versus the world. Game number 1, Suni versus Hoi. And it's going to be Aggro Druid on Suni's side versus Murloc Paladin for Hoi.
Yeah, Murloc Paladin often uses the 4th pick. Like I say, Hoi hasn't got Priest, so he's relying on an aggro lineup. And a little wry smile there from Hoi. I don't think he was expecting to run into aggro Druid.
So, Neil, how good's your Korean gotten?
Not very, I've got to admit. I've been trying to learn up how the letters are packaged together. Give me another 3 or 4 years and we'll be good at this.
Do you know what any of these cards do?
No.
This could be tough.
So, yeah, luckily we do know what the cards do because we've seen the pictures a million times before. And both players are going to have pretty much ideal starts here.
Yep, no hard turns coming up in the immediate future. Hoi, he's taking a second. He doesn't want to make it obvious that he only has 1 or 2 possible cards to play. So even if the play is just slam down Rockpool Hunter, he wants to at least feign the fact that he's got some choices to make.
Yeah, he also wants to work out what he's going to do on turn 3, which is not as obvious because obviously he has a good taunt minion, but playing just 2 minions of any sort on turn 3 is almost as important as having 1 decent taunt. So he would have had to make a decision for next turn already.
Moving back over to Suni, that Mark of Yasharaj is so good on these beetles.
Right.
You get a huge minion with 3 attack and 4 health at the moment. It could have been even higher. You get the card draw. What's not to like?
What's not to like is it is only 1 minion for the price of 2. There's Patches.
Okay, you probably heard that. But our Korean counterparts next door, really, really reacted strongly to that, Patches.
Yeah, they're not impressed. I think they may have been talking about going very wide on this board rather than playing the mark, and then he wouldn't have drawn the patches.
Right. Of course, Firefly would have been an option. There's the mark of the
Firefly and
Lotus
the Bloodsail.
there.
The Bloodsail would have pulled the patches. He'd have got a whole bunch of stuff on the board. He's got 2 buffs, but he's trying to save them this turn. That's what he was going to do next turn, but now he's drawn the patches. It's going to be much more messy for him.
So the best thing he could do is make the trade and try to guarantee that that Murloc Tidecaller dies next turn. Hoy doesn't have a great turn 3. You said it before, and I'm going to say it again now. It's got to be Stonehill Defender.
Yeah, and try and find something to do next turn.
Okay, so technically, he did find something he can do next turn, but do you ever not take Tyrion?
Well, next turn you're probably going to play your Chum plus your second defender.
Exactly.
Then you're probably going to play Finger. If you've got time, Tyrion's a long way off if you're facing Living Mana and stuff like that. Maybe you just want a 2/6 to jump on the board to slow down that Living Mana if it comes along on turn 6, alongside maybe just making a dude or whatever you picked up by then. But he thinks he can get to turn 8 intact, and if he can, Tyrion will win in the game.
Well, he's got another taunt next turn, potentially another taunt for a turn soon after that, as you said. Finger is going to have quite a big swing later. Interestingly, one of the things Hoy said to me just before this game started is that he doesn't think it's going to take very long.
Yeah, that's why I think there was a smile on his face when Suni just played turn 1, gave away that he was playing aggro druid, because I think Hoy was expecting to just try and bash mid-range decks in the face, and it's just not come around like that at all.
Suni really going to have to take his time here. The fact that Patches is in his hand really is slowing him down. Because imagine if he could play the Bloodsail, get the Patches for free, and squeeze Mark of the Lotus here. That would be so much stronger than anything he's got now. And just Power of the Wild to summon a 3/2. Ouch.
That is pretty ouch indeed. He did have the option there to play at least some 1-drops and buff them, but he is just trying to challenge this 1/4, get it off the board as quickly as possible. And Hoy now got a decision to make.
That was a pretty heavenly draw there, the Blessing of Kings. Blessing of Kings on a 1/4. It makes a 5/8 with Taunt.
Yeah, I don't think there's much chance of seeing a Spellbreaker. That's what he's got to run through his mind, just in case there's something weird like that coming. He also wants to know when he's going to play this Finger. Maybe you want to put the Blessing on the Finger in the future. And again, there is some value in having 2 minions on the board instead of 1.
That's true. But given that the Paladin should be under a lot of pressure from the Druid now, Hoy's in a great spot. There's suddenly no hurry for him to do anything, because this board that Suni's building up really hasn't amounted to much.
Yeah, next turn, I mean, Hoy will be worried about Living Mana. When Druids start like this, they've usually got it. He'll be worried about Hydra. He can't really deal very well with a Hydra right now.
That's true.
He's done no damage, and by picking Tyrion, he has decided he's going to go long with this. And so playing this Blessing is playing to that game plan. If you're going to go long, you've got to start clearing up this board to make sure that Savage Roar doesn't destroy you.
But Suni's hand, Crazed Alchemist really not going to do all that much right now.
It would have done though.
Yeah,
If
without
jumped to 1/4 on the board, that Alchemist would be looking good right now.
Yeah, that trade, and it might get the second Stonehill later, but it's not going to do much work. And what can Suni do this turn?
I mean, you want to look at buffing your board, but do you want to buff 3 minions once, or do you want to buff 2 minions and then twice? How many times do you want to get these buffs going?
I feel like he just has to go as wide as he can, and as you say, like buff them all once with the Mark of the Lotus, and hope that he can get some buffs next turn as well. There's no real reason that Hoy should be clearing several minions next turn, so the second Mark of the Lotus should be able to find multiple targets still.
I mean, he can just play 4 minions and 1-drops and not attack, and then next turn play the Crazed Alchemist and buff everything twice.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's good, I'm just saying it's a thing he can do. But he's going with a very different line indeed here. He's going to clear this up now. Leave himself with a 3/3 versus nothing. He's used a lot of resources to do so, but he has at least managed to get something onto the board.
I think Suni's top priority at the moment is to make sure that the board is empty for a turn 6 Spike Ridge Steed. He cannot let that happen.
Yeah, then he would just lose.
That's why, and like, if you can deal with the minion now, you probably do, because Hoy's board's only going to get bigger, And the more stuff Suni lets survive earlier, the more stuff sticks around later.
So much for Hoy to factor in here. It's just you just want to play the cheap stuff, I think. He's weighing up what's at the top of his deck. He's weighing up what he can get from the Finger. He's weighing up which taunts are available.
I quite like Finger. Just because you can put it down, it really does bluff the Spike Steed. Because again, as I said, Suni will be thinking about that. And Finger is the perfect target for Spike
Even though
Steed.
it bluffs it, is there anything you can do about it if it is there? So if you're going to bluff something, you're trying to stop your opponent from doing something about it.
Sure.
If he bluffs something that he can't do anything about, he may just play as if you haven't got it out of necessity, but he's going to go for the Finger. And now you've got to be very careful not to put your one drops down.
Finger's quite a slow card, and playing it now when there's not much pressure facing Hoy down, I just think this makes a lot of sense. But yeah, what does Suni do about this? He can't really afford to play any of these minions. I guess he could play them and buff them.
Yeah, play them all and buff them. Eat your pirate. Do you eat your own pirate? Are you that sort of player?
I think if you're playing Mark of the Lotus, you gain more stats by not eating, right? You play the crab first, then the pirate,
I think
and
so.
the buff.
And do you play the Corsair knowing you're playing against Paladin who at some point will actually have a weapon in their hand? It's quite difficult to know. Suni's not had an easy time of this at all game. His team won the Hearthstone Team Championships 2017 over here, and the All-Star Champions, so...
That's HTC,
right.
Not to be confused with HCT.
Yes, good job I read the package carefully. That would have been an interesting cast had I not. And he is just going to go all in here, playing the crab first, and defending against any Finger stuff. And again, this is what I was saying. He doesn't play around Spike Steed because he can't. He just plays around what he can see.
And now Bone Mare gives Hoy an even more interesting set of choices, because now he might be tempted to just keep this Finger stealthed. You keep it stealth, next turn you get the buff, you kill a thing, you have the taunt, you get more Murlocs. Turn 7 looks insane.
Yeah, he's got to get there though. He knows he's got to be careful here, but he's got perfect information, so no real worries. The only thing he'll be scared of is a Savage Draw off the top, and there comes a point where you just got to say, nah. He might take the 6-10 here, just play it straight after Tyrion.
Yeah, why not? Even the Savage Draw here is not lethal. Gonna want to count that again just to check, but I'm pretty certain it can't be lethal. We got 4 minions on the board. That's only a little bit more than a Force of Nature Savage Draw, so...
Yeah, it looks like Hoy can get to turn 9. He just actually takes a second Tyrion. Maybe thinking of just playing the other chum alongside it on turn 9.
Savage Draw Hero Power would have been 22, 23 damage, something around that region. And there's a taunt in the way. So.
All right, so Suni needs a big pickup now. That's not it.
It's not quite big enough.
It's not going to slow.
Even a Bittertide Hydra would have been okay there.
Yeah, Hoy's going to be able to get this Finger to do its magic. And it looks like Suni's going to be in trouble. Suni after.
It has begun.
Oh, it's going to be a long day. Get ready.
The horrible Lorinda puns have started.
So Suni doing what he can to tidy up what he can here, but he's got to put some damage to face. He has no more resources. He's got to do what he can, but does not look good at all for him.
Okay, well, it's time for Hoy's huge turn. The Poisonous is slightly annoying. In fact, it totally plays around Bone Mare.
Well, I mean, Hoy can just do what he likes here. Obviously, buffing Finger seems the way forward, though.
Well, maybe he puts the Finger into the Poisonous and then buffs up a Murloc. Because the problem is, by buffing up Finger, you guarantee the Poisonous can kill it for free, even with the Bone Mare buff.
Yeah, that seems fine to me. He's still not under any great danger of dying as long as he has a taunt, so that seems to work out nicely.
It's kind of complicated. I don't think the Curator is ever the play here.
No, I agree. I think you're Bone Mare.
Yeah.
Depends what the Curator can fetch. Maybe if there's something weird in there, like Udo.
Oh!
That's why they would be. It'd be Megazord most of the time.
2 of the best Murlocs, arguably. even with the nerf, this is still pretty darn strong.
He might be tempted to take Curator now.
Yeah.
Get the Megasaur and just defend there with Divine Shield and stuff going forward, but
That's true.
I don't think it matters. Soon he can get through a... You know what? The extra 1 health is kind of important on the Curator.
Time's running out though. Hoy is going to have to choose one of the cards. He is going to go with the Curator in the end. I like this a lot. Like you said, the Megasaur comes out. And there's a lot of aggression that's going to come from Hoy very soon. And he's got all the choices in the world now. Tyrion, Bone Mare, Megasaur, Hydrologist. Like,
yeah, he just needs to make sure he can beat those big things. He can definitely beat Hydra with all his taunt. He just needs to be able to beat Living Mana, and that seems easy enough because everything's got such high health totals.
And Suni's card draw just isn't going his way. No Living Mana seen yet, no Bitter Tide Hydra. He had a horrible start with the patches in hand, and now this.
Yeah, very difficult to see how soon he can get anything out of this. Remember, it's just straight elimination. If you lose this best of 5, you are out. There's been quite a big build-up to this event, so going out in the first round, the first match with aggro decks could happen really quickly if you don't take your time. And he is doing a good job of at least settling himself into the event.
And again, don't forget, even the players that lose in the first round today, they will be going home with, I think we said $800.
Yeah, a little bit more than 800, yeah.
800, 1,000, I think it's somewhere in that region. So they're not going completely empty-handed, but they have worked damn hard to get here. And they are going to want to get all the way to the end.
Yeah, in the round of 16, Suni played Big Druid, and he did the same again in the round of 8. So he has actually mixed it up here for this event. He's bringing the aggro Druid. Again, we saw Hoy sort of smirk at the start. That'll be another thing. He will know the same as we do, that basically the exact lineup that Suni has been bringing has been Big Druid, Silence Priest, Quest Mage, and Keleseth Rogue. That's what he brought for the round of 16 and the Korean round of 8 to get to the Korean top 4.
Right. Well, that Hungry Crab pretty much seals the deal, I think.
Yeah.
It's hard for Suni to come back now. The second Tyrion coming down, or the Bone Mare, like pretty much everything Hoy has is, well, I was going to say golden here, but yeah, quite literally golden as well.
Yeah, the Murlocs can be eaten, the weapon can be eaten. Oh, it's all gone wrong. Maybe not.
Tech cards aren't quite that good.
I mean, they're pretty good. It's just they've got to eat 7 cards.
Yeah.
And kill a Tyrion.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he had another 9 cards in his hand, these would actually be okay tech cards.
Oh, the redemption for the Tyrion, and the Bone Mare making it a 10-10.
Yeah, I think I prefer hitting my opponent in the face for killing 1 Murloc.
What's that phrase that people use in this situation?
Bottom right, buddy.
That's the one. That's the one.
Suni obliges, gets on with it, and Hoy takes an early 1-0 lead in a fairly slow aggro matchup.
Yep, and he's looking pretty calm, pretty collected, pretty Hoy-like.
Really Hoy-like indeed.
One of the more calm players that we've ever seen in Hearthstone, I think.
Yeah, I'd go along with that. Spends a lot of his time just making sure he knows what he's doing. I mean, they all know what they're doing, but he is very, very calculating player and getting the results to show for it finally this year.
He's missing his companion. Is it Pidgey? His companion? But that hasn't seemed to be slowing him down recently as he attends these events in bigger and bigger arenas all over the world.
Doesn't seem to stream as much as he used to. I think because he is going to all these big events now, not quite as much time to stream.
They get busy. These incredibly successful players, they don't have all the time that they used to when they're out there winning hundreds of thousands of dollars in these massive events.
What do you think of that trophy, Dan?
I think it's pretty glorious.
Yeah, I think it is too. All right, into game 2.
Suni going to, I can't even tell what class this is. Oh yeah, Enchanted Raven. Suni going to bring his aggro druid one more time. And we're going to see Zoo from Hoy.
Yeah, and this explains why Hoy was a bit coy about things earlier when I asked which version of Zoo he played recently, because this is going to be the version with the Flappy Birds The version that really is built to give a little bit more problems to Priest in particular. They have to have slightly more answers early. In return for that, though, you do give up a little bit of board control in games like this one. You probably haven't got a captain in here, which means you can't get that great Patches trade into the aggro Druid.
Yes, but Patches is present in the other hand. So Suni will get the big bursty start. This is where the Druid should flourish, by getting a big blowout start. If he can just pick up a Savage Roar or a Living Mana to play on turn 5, just something for that final bit of push, then he'll be in a good spot.
Yeah, there should be Patches in Hoy's there, but just no captain to go with it, so it's very much a wasted sort of feeling. Notice how important he feels it is to challenge this early board. He had turn 2 coin Fledgling, decided to actually just completely give up on turn 2, get his stuff out there now and make sure this board does not get out of control immediately.
I mean, even like this, if the Suni's play could have been Pyra, Patches comes out, Mark of the Lotus.
Right.
And that would have still been too much for Hoy to deal with. But Hoy played around what Suni had very, very nicely.
So getting the board, it's not exactly getting the board, right? So Suni will know there should be Keleseth in Hoy's deck. He will probably assume that Hoy has 2 more 1-drops anyway, but he's going to have to challenge what he can see. And this is going to be rewarded because Hoy's going to have nothing to do unless he can top deck a Keleseth.
Well, okay, that's not too bad.
That will do. He would definitely settle for it.
It's not quite Keleseth, but it's a card he can play. Will he consider tapping instead?
No, I don't think. His turn 1 showed, look, I'm desperate to get stuff on the board. This deck plays, I think it's 15 1-drops, it might be 13. It's a lot of 1-drops. He knew there was a good chance of picking one up. That's why he could afford.
Well, this turn seems like it pretty much writes itself, doesn't it?
And this is the difference when you don't play the captain. Look what that captain did. Look what this Flappy Bird's going to do. Captain's traded 2 for 1 here, basically.
Yeah, very nicely done. If Hoy had a Soulfire, then maybe he could have played the Malkazar's in, made something a little bit better of this board.
And now it's traded 2 for none.
Oh.
And now you see why Hoy was so desperate on turn 1 to get anything on the board. He's done everything he can to fight for this board, and it's just not enough.
Then he plays the Spellbreaker, hits the Taunt, and the captain still kills the minion.
Right, the Doom Guard's going to give him some sort of chance on turn 5. I think he has to go for that, much as you'd like to slow down and play the Dreadlord. So he should be able to fight back with the Doom Guard. Then maybe he gets a Dreadlord the turn after.
Oh, this is nasty.
And at the moment, Suni's hand is awful, but...
No, this is nasty. Double Mark of Yashiraj, buffing up the Beetle, drawing cards. There's Living Mana, finally. Didn't show up in the last game, but here it's going to be huge.
Yeah, now I think he'll just empty the rest of his hand. He's got a Living Mana next turn, so he's probably going to do this anyway, but now he's seen what's going on for next turn. He is just straight up going to jam everything onto the table. His only question is here, what do you buff? Do you buff your captain? Because there might be a Mortal Coil in Hoy's deck? Or do you buff the 3/7 and just have this extra card and an indestructible minion?
So buffing the captain plays around the Despicable Dreadlord. I think vitally going into turn 5. It's really tricky. Thing is, you definitely like drawing cards.
You like drawing cards, but when do you cast them? I know that sounds stupid, you probably cast them on turn 6 or 7. But your Living Mana is going to take up a lot of time anyway. I kind of like just protecting my 3 minions.
Oh, this works too.
Sure.
Yeah, I like this a lot.
He's actually going to trade the captain, because he's expecting it to die next turn anyway.
Still plays around the Despicable Dreadlord. I like this a lot. And Living Mana and Savage Roar both ready to go.
Yeah, has Hoy got any choice here? Chain Gang has definitely given him an option, which he didn't have before. But he can't really do enough damage to the minions to set up a Dreadlord, so I think we might just still see the Doom Guard anyway. He would love to play the Imp and the Doom Guard together next turn. But the Chain Gang doesn't really do anything right now. It slows it down, but it's just a speed bump.
Yeah, that's literally all it is. That, and then we open up the play to survive versus play to win argument.
Right.
Chain Gang would be the play to survive, but you don't even need to yet. So that's something you consider way later down the line.
It gives you a long game. Like if you do keep back the Doom Guard here, you do get to play your Imp into Doom Guard next turn, draw 2 more cards. It does give you a long game. Yeah, he is challenging the board. As you hear the explosion at the end of the turn, the floor vibrated here in this arena with that.
And now Living Mana looks relatively straightforward. We're going to be summoning 5 mana crystals, meaning 1 mana gets left over.
Yeah, the only thing is you then got to trade both minions into the 4/5 in case he plays a second Dreadlord.
Yeah. That's true.
I'm not saying that's much of a downside, but
it works out very well though,
it
because
does force your hand.
Next turn, Suni can play Power of the Wild.
Yeah. Yeah, it works out absolutely fine.
Doomguard can only do so much.
Yeah, Doomguard versus this team, it's not going to go too well.
Hey, great, he can put the imp up as well. He can cycle the 2 cards in his hand. You don't really want to lose the Bone Mare. You don't have much choice.
If you chain gang, do you tap? You might. Do you need other cards? You might not. But you see from Hoy's face, he knows that this game's over. He's got to find the 5% chance of winning from somewhere.
Yep, there's no point in conceding too soon.
I mean, he can't see what we can see. If he can see the Power of the Wild, he might actually just give up.
As I see you making notes out of the corner of my eye.
Yeah, 1-1. Don't like to call it early, but I noted it down early. I've said this before. That way, if there is a miraculous comeback, I can just check my notes and scribble it out and know where the scribbles point to the important part of the day. Yeah, Suni getting this important buff.
And as far as I can see it, there is no way for Hoy to stop this Savage Roar from doing serious damage. Yes, he can put the taunts up, but does that actually prevent enough damage?
It's Gul'dan too slow. I can't see how Gul'dan can do this. I mean, your play is Councilman Chain Gang, I think. It's just not a play that looks like any fun at all.
It doesn't quite stop enough damage either.
No.
The Doomguard eats up one of the crystals. The Saronite Chain Gang eats up 2 of the crystals' attacks. That leaves 2 crystals dealing 5 damage each, and the face dealing 2. That's just lethal.
That is going to be lethal next turn, but he has to go for this. He can't see the Savage Roar. Yeah. There was an option, I guess, to tap and try and find a Void Walker, but you can't make that play. It's impossible. So go for the central play, and this is just lethal.
Just had to quickly do the maths, check that out, but yep. There it is.
1 game apiece, and the aggro druid out of the way. It is best of 5 conquest. We won't be seeing that again in this round.
Huge round of applause from the local Korean audience here. I think it's fair for us to be ever so slightly biased towards the Western players, because right in front of us there are thousands of people who seem to be pretty biased towards their fellow countrymen.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of people out there is insane. There is just not a spare seat. Literally maybe 2 spare seats after this game just finished. People here just going to see some more of this massive convention, but I'm looking in front of us, there are rows and rows of people. Many people on each row. Just
when you just look in the distance, like you could just about see it on the shot there. There are so many people wandering around, more than I've ever seen at an event.
Yeah, this is absolutely nuts.
Anyways, that leaves Suni with his shaman and his priest, and Hoy with his rogue and his warlock. Very different lineups.
Yeah, no priest is really interesting to me.
Yeah.
I feel that you bring priest and make people ban it.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about priest. Orange has been just saying, and he said it on stream as well, just how much he thinks the priest is completely and utterly busted right now. I must say, I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, we've sort of gone to the point where we can see some Overwatch in the background there. We've sort of gone to the point where a lot of players aren't banning priest, they're banning rogue and playing decks like Big Druid to capitalize on
right.
So I can comprehend not bringing priest. Doesn't mean I agree with it though.
Yeah, I'll fight you later. All right, Token Shaman versus Zoo. Interesting matchup. There was a while when Zoo just won this matchup, like 2 years ago. And then in the age of the Shaman, what changed was having a spell doing 1 damage to all your opponent's minions really killed stuff off. But that deck also played Lightning Storm a lot of the time, which it now doesn't, so...
Jade Claws helped as well.
Yeah, it really did.
Just having an extra good, cheap weapon that sort of functioned like Fiery War Axe.
But I feel that Zoo's favoured again now. I feel that Shaman just doesn't have enough tools to be... I'm down on Shaman. I know that I think Sidonia likes Shaman quite a lot, but I feel that Shaman's like the 7th or 8th best class right now, honestly. It just seems to fold up too easily to too many decks. And the wins seem to come from, just almost lucky evolves. I also don't like the fact that evolves evolve into 5/5s, which is a bad number right now. And I'm all for Zoo in this matchup, personally.
Yeah, Doomguards like 5/5s. Doomguards like eating up 5/5s.
Everything likes eating up 5/5s. Dragonfire Potions and other decks like them as well.
True.
It's just a hard deck to get out there right now. But I wonder why he's not playing any pirates at all. We haven't seen a Corsair yet.
That's
Look
true.
at that crab in the hand of Suni.
That's true, I don't think we have. So Suni's going to be holding on to that, probably, to no avail.
Yeah,
There might still be pirates.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we haven't seen any of Hoy's deck apart from the same 10 cards.
Of course, this is a completely closed deck list format.
Right.
These guys, they will be using the same deck list all of today and all of tomorrow. So by the finals, the players will have a pretty good idea of what's in the opponent's deck.
Yep.
But at the moment, they know nothing, we know nothing.
In before Twitch chat, yeah.
Actually, Orange has shown me his Druids. That deck's a little bit interesting, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah. Yeah, if the key cards come out of Orange's Druid, that'll be interesting to see. Everybody knows he's got something, they just don't know what they are. Orange has made it clear that he's done something a bit weird.
An interesting thing about this tournament is that because of the way it pans out, a lot of the Western players that we were talking to, the Europeans, they were sort of openly talking about their deck lists in front of each other.
Because they can't play each other.
Exactly. By the time they will be playing each other, if they win, they'll have already seen the stream, they'll have seen the games, they'll have seen a lot of the information anyway.
Orange did wait until Pavel left the room before telling us his tech.
He said he didn't care about Hoy because if he does play against Hoy, it won't be until the finals.
Right.
Whereas if he plays against Pavel, it'll be like round 2.
So Hoy's turn was made much harder here by picking up this chain gang, or much more interesting. He was just going to straight up play the Flappy Bird, but now the Councilman actually becomes a 3/5 over 2 turns with chain gang on curve. Makes it a lot more interesting a turn. Obviously with the aim being to take down this 0/3 in the next turn after the chain gang is played. And this is where the Flappy Bird, where the fledgling in Zoo, is at its weakest. When your opponent's playing minions and you're not playing captain yourself, this is more designed for priests. This is more designed for hitting your opponents in the face, maybe for some mage decks, but it's not designed for fighting on the board.
Vicious Fledgling just is not as strong as it used to be. I remember having this exact conversation with you in the Hearthstone Global Games, where you said to me, why is Vicious Fledgling not as good in Hunter as it is in Druid? The answer was, there's no innovate.
Right.
That is still the case in Zoo. It's even the case really in Aggro Druid nowadays. Vicious Fledgling just is not as powerful as it used to be.
Yeah, and it's just not as powerful as Captain. When all these decks at the moment are fighting on boards, you can ban Priest. That's the only real deck that isn't a board control deck at the moment. Yeah, Quest Mage is a thing. There are other decks. Control Warrior is a thing. Control Warlock's a thing. But the only real deck that you have to worry about is Priest. And all the other decks you're fighting on the board, and Fledgling does not do that.
This Saranite Chain Gang is looking spicy right now.
It is indeed looking very spicy. It's going to get a lot of work done, block up the board, and take down the key minion, that Flame Tongue Totem.
Yeah, this is some good synergy, but 2 Vicious Fledglings stuck in Hoy's hand. 2 cards that he can't really do all that much with.
Yeah, I mean, they're fine as 3/3s for 3, but they're not going to be getting their ability off. But Hoy will start winning this game of attrition soon. But at every point in the game, he has to be scared of a sudden evolve. So this will be the turn he is terrified of. Just 3-drop evolve would actually be just nightmare for him. Not that there's many 3-drops in Shaman.
The devolve doesn't actually hurt him that badly. he gets 2 3-drops, which won't be much weaker than the 4-drops. Obviously, it hits the councilman hard, but that's it.
I mean, you play Chain Gang in Shaman sometimes for the fact that you get 2 for the price of 1. So yeah, devolving them just isn't that much of a problem.
So yeah, needs must, and the Jade Lightning comes down.
Yeah, nothing too terrifying here for Hoy.
Oh, do you sacrifice?
You've just said yourself, these fledglings are not that useful right now. I think you just throw them away and get the board.
I'm tempted to agree with you, but then Devolve hurts so badly. Devolving a Doomguard is bad, well, if you're the Doomguard player.
GG, I was the Doomguard. So, not entirely sure how you go about it. You're definitely right there. I don't know if you play around it though. You'd still have 2 minions against a 1/1 if you do this.
I think you have to tap. Honestly, I think you have to tap first and then play Vicious Fledgling. The thing is, if you kill the crab, Fledgling might survive. Then Suni has to play Devolve, then you can play Doomguard after that.
Well, this is what Hoy's agonising about. It's definitely a tricky choice.
It's not easy by any means. Okay, he's going to go with the Doomguard.
Those 2 fledglings just discarded, and now this is a key turn for Suni. If he can't grab this back, then he is done.
Doppelgangster does not trade nicely with anything on the board at the moment. GG, Lorinda was the Doomguard. Oh, Ancient Watcher.
But he does get card draw with it in the 4-2, so definitely a win for Suni there, but not a huge win. Actually, yeah, it's a huge win.
Councilman losing all of its stats, essentially.
Yeah, and there's no taunt, no way to taunt.
Yeah, there's no Argus anymore.
Yeah, no Sun Fury.
There might be a Spellbreaker.
There might actually. Yeah, the fledgling version tends to play Spellbreaker because you're trying to hit the face much harder than the other version. So yeah,
and look, it turns out Hoy does run Pirates.
Not to say this.
Oh, Nerubian Unraveler, I think.
Yeah, that makes it is. It is. Not to say this crowd's biased or anything. When Hoy drew that patches, they all cheered.
We both shook our heads for a second there again. Haven't learned to read Korean yet, and this is not a card we've seen that much of.
I've seen a lot of this card though. It's always in my opening hand. Patches the Pirate. Actually not totally useless here. At least it cleared the board.
Okay, Jade Claws eats up that polluted, is it polluted loot hoarder? Polluted hoarder, oh my goodness.
Wow, you're rocking these names. Spot the guy who stopped playing Arena. Hasn't played enough recently, and yourself has played a lot, obviously. We've seen this card tried in Priest as well, especially in the mirror.
Yeah,
the Hoarder.
Makes sense.
It doesn't work too well, but it's a 4-attack minion that draws cards.
Okay.
And now Suni is setting the way to be able to play the Doppelgangster even if he doesn't get the Evolve. And that Devolve has really swung this around.
This is a fine draw for Hoy though. It means he can play the Nerubian, play the Soulfire, discard the 1-mana card, doesn't matter, and sort of get himself on the board.
Yeah, he is going to do this.
Unfortunately, this doesn't really stop Suni from doing anything.
Right, yeah, it's just going to continue as planned and hope that Suni doesn't have enough to do.
Okay, gonna opt to actually play the minion rather than the Soulfire, sure. I don't know what these emotes are.
That was Korean.
Yeah, it was. Very good.
I know that much. So, Suni, I think, here can just drop the Firefly and the Doppelgangster and just not be too bothered. Yeah, now bump everything into 6-5 because it's going to start going through some stuff. I don't feel... Oh, do you really even need to? Given that you can trade off the 2-1 anyway.
I don't mind getting rid of I don't mind trading either of them. You trade the Nerubian because it means that The only minion that can attack just hits your taunt, that's all.
Yeah, and that's what he's going to do. And then next turn he can kill it with a portal.
But then killing the 2-1 would have meant that the Nerubian has to go into the taunt anyway, so either was fine. And wow, this Ancient Watcher is horrible.
Yeah, it's going to be...
It's going to eat up the buff.
7-5 that gets silenced goes back down again, even when it does get silenced eventually.
It might get devolved.
Yeah, this game is basically going to be over unless Hoy can tap into something good. And this is the weakness of the fledgling build. I mean, don't get me wrong, he got really unlucky with the devolve.
He does run Gul'dan.
He does.
So that is something that could come within the next few turns and actually cause a bit of a shake-up.
Yeah, sure. Looks like he's going to Soulfire, obviously, because he's waiting to tap last. On purpose.
Yep. Tapping last is sometimes correct. Oh, and rewarded as well. Look at that.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if you can hear this back home. You probably can, but the Korean commentators are pretty happy about that sequence of pickups because now Suni can just win this game.
Korean commentators are very enthusiastic.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
I get very excited when I'm watching Hearthstone, but they take it to a whole other level.
Yeah, the crowd are definitely enjoying this game, and Suni went very high with 11 and 2.
Oh, that is a little bit late. You can't even hear me, can you, Neil?
I can't hear a word you're saying right now, Dan. That's why I'm just staring blankly into space.
So that Prince Kalasath is a little bit late. Not going to do all that much here. Hoya's going to have to play it and tap and hope for something good.
Yeah, and it's just not going to work out for him, most likely. I don't know what he can pick up here. Maybe he can pick up...
Saranite Chain Gang?
Yeah.
That's about all I can think of that's good.
Got to tap.
Oh. It's not lethal yet. We're not quite there yet. And Bone Marrow can buff up the Ancient Watcher.
Yeah, it can, and that'd be quite amusing. I do hope that people can hear that at home. It's so loud in this arena right now.
Yeah, we have no idea what these microphones are picking up and what they're not, but we can barely hear each other.
Yeah, we are sat very close to each other, comfortably close.
Uncomfortably close.
Oh, I wasn't going to say it that way. You had to go one lower. There's an ah comes to the crowd where they realise not quite lethal yet, guys. The European, the world contingent are still in this game.
Calm it down, everyone. Our man Hoy still has a shot.
I don't think he does.
I don't think he does either.
At the moment, there's lethal on board. Because the thing from below is a taunt, then the Keleseth can't get a good trade. So even taunting up the Watcher isn't enough. It would put just not enough stuff there. And now he can't even tap. That was a very good attack there rather than trading.
This game is over. I now see no way that Hoy survives next turn.
Yeah, I think we'll just see him tap rather than bottom right, just to be creative. And then we'll get on with the next game of Hearthstone. Suni down to one deck, which I believe is his Priest.
And this Warlock just not doing it for Hoy. There's the Saranite Chain Gang. That would have been great 2 turns ago.
Yeah.
That would have been game-changing 2 turns ago.
2-1 and just down to his Priest. Now it does look like Hoy has chosen to leave Priest up, and we've seen cards so far that are okay against Priest. The Cobalt Scalebane and the Fledgling in the zoo.
Nerubian Unraveler as well.
Yeah, certainly picking up for very, very heavily anti-Priest. So despite that he's 2-1 down in the score, it may be quite equal if you work out the percentages.
Yeah, that's true. We may see this one go all the way to game 5. I think we're quite likely to see this one go all the way to game 5. But let's see which deck Hoy brings first to counter that pesky Priest.
Yeah, I think it will be the zoo. It looks like the zoo is really built to hurt Priest. Rogue's interesting. A lot of the Rogue builds at the moment with just tar creepers and such like aren't actually very good against Priest. They're better against the deck 4, the zoos, the paladins, whatever. So it'd be interesting to see what tech he has in his Rogue deck.
There's that trophy again.
Yeah, I like that trophy a lot. And that image is everywhere across this town as well.
Yeah.
Like billboards everywhere. We saw the local TV on one of the stations.
Well, we were on a 3-hour train to get to Busan.
Yeah.
In the southern, we pretty much traveled from the northern border of South Korea to the southern border of South Korea.
We did.
And yeah, on the train there was a TV screen and it was advertising this tournament. This event is huge in South Korea.
Yeah, again, I'll keep on about it. We're going to keep on about it because it is ridiculous. Like, there is people standing everywhere to watch this at the moment as well. All the seats are gone. It's nuts.
And again, I had a...
Oh, he's got captains in his deck.
Oh, there you go.
As well as fledgling. That's interesting.
That's a lot of 3-mana minions.
That is, because he's
And
still playing
Councilman,
Councilman as well. So, much heavier build than we've been giving this credit for.
Got to feel a bit sorry for him, though, having not actually drawn the captains
That's
yet.
so strange, yeah. And like, you normally play one or the other, so playing both is an interesting build.
Oh, this is not Kazaka's Priest.
Oh, and he's been playing this Inner Fire Priest all the way through the qualifiers, so we shouldn't be surprised.
Very easy to get carried away there as soon as you see Priest, but there are so many builds nowadays. Kazaka's Priest, Big Priest, and of course, Dragon Priest, Silence Priest. Any of these combinations of cards through an Inner Fire. Maybe we'll see Marin the Fox. We probably won't see Marin the Fox.
Yeah, I realised as well, just vagued off there, yeah, we're not going to see the Fox. That Hoy's not playing Firefly, I think.
Okay.
So it looks like the extra 3 drops have come by sacrificing Firefly, which is interesting because Firefly works like a surrogate 2-drop. When you're playing Keleseth, Firefly gives you 2 mana's worth of stuff on turn 2.
I didn't see that fledgling hitting the face somehow. Even if Suni decided to go with the Shadow Visions his last turn, he'd have found a way to stop this fledgling. And now I think Captain has to come down and the trades have to be made.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to do damage to these minions. Hoy will know there's a good chance that this is Silence Priest. It is a deck that, as I say, Suni played for all of his qualifiers, and there were a lot of qualifiers in this tournament.
I mean, we can just let the Korean commentators do our job for us
Yeah,
right now.
it feels like it at times.
That was quite the pickup, and now Suni has demolished Hoy's board. This game is looking over to me already.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need the Inner Fire to win this game of Hearthstone. Divine Spirit on its own is just enough to make your minions into minion killers.
Yeah, it just lets you make these killer trades over and over again, but there is the Inner Fire anyway. Double Cabal Talent Priest in hand. Oh, Hoy doesn't know what's about to... Hoy does not know what's about to hit him.
I mean, he can probably feel the floor vibrating from the Korean commentator, so he might have an idea. But yeah, in theory, he hasn't got a clue. That's just lethal next turn. Is it not? It's not quite.
No, not quite.
Not quite enough mana.
Another Divine Spirit would do it.
Chat lethal.
Another Divine Spirit, and that's lethal.
Not that it really matters, because it's going to be lethal sooner rather than later anyway.
Even another Powered Shield would be lethal. Yeah, alright, may as well make the huge board now. Not playing around to silence, mind. Don't think it matters too much.
No. And boy, oh dear.
Calm as always, but that is going to be game number 4. Suni is the first player to get through to the semi-finals.
Yep, Korea versus rest of the world. Korea, it feels like a 1-0 lead. It's not a team event as such. It is just a quarter-final fixed draw, so they're all playing against the Koreans. But yeah, Korea getting a player through the first round there.
And Suni has worked very, very hard to get here. Boy has travelled very, very far to get here.
Yes.
So still going to be pretty disappointed to be going home with the, with the 8th place prize.
And Suni will go through, and he'll play the winner of Seoul Derby and Zixo, which will be the next game. But interesting lineup there from Hoy. A very aggressive lineup in a meta that is going to possibly struggle a little bit against that sort of lineup. And he knew what he was going to expect.
Well, he did say to us, it's going to be a quick series.
And he was right, just not quite in the way that he was expecting, I feel.
Yeah, so it's pretty sad from our perspective, from the West, from I think a lot of the people that are going to be watching the UK broadcast, or the English broadcast, UK broadcast, the English broadcast. You guys are going to be as biased as we are. I think that's fair to say.
It's hard not to have a smile on your face, though. Again, just looking at how happy these guys are to watch a Korean player go through. And Suni, I think, is the second most experienced of the Koreans in this lineup. The most experienced being Kranich, who we'll see play Orange later. So don't go anywhere. You've got to watch 2 more matches if you want to watch that one.
Yeah. Now, honestly, we are sort of following along with the Korean broadcast now. Much like with the Korean Major, we are very much the secondary thing going on here, which is why it's the Korean broadcast being blasted out to the audience and everything. So we're just sort of playing it by ear, seeing what they do. If they go to a break, we'll go to a break.
Yeah.
That sounds like that's what's happening.
That does sound like we're going to go to a break.
Yeah, we'll be right back for the next series.